Hello, my peoples, as Gandhi would say. This is another video response, kind of, to Gandhi's Thoughts number 63 this time. And in Gandhi's Thoughts number 63, we saw Gandhi basically advising people that want to make a living in the video game scene to switch over to Call of Duty. This is good advice in terms of the money, well, at least on the surface. But let's take a look at some questions that are really important here in terms of that are important for people that are going to switch from Halo to Call of Duty with the intent to make money at it. Of course, he can do it easily because he's a caster, and the skill set involves the most of his skill set that he already has transfers over to his new pursuit of casting Call of Duty. It's mostly about talking, being able to talk pleasantly and look good on camera and sound good on microphone. Knowing what you're talking about is easy enough to do once you just watch a little bit of Call of Duty. I don't think that it takes years of casting a game or playing a game to understand how to talk about the game. I don't want to rip on the profession of casting, so I won't say much more. But let's look at what it looks like instead from a player's perspective, switching from Halo to Call of Duty. There are skill sets that transfer over. That's not arguable. Keeping track of where people are on the map, being able to move your thumbsticks so they can shoot where you want to shoot. There's a lot of skill sets that transfer over. There's a question that I want to ask though, and I honestly don't know the answer to this. This is not a rhetorical question. If anybody knows the answer, please post it in a comment. What Halo pros have switched over to Call of Duty and then placed in the money at a major Call of Duty event? Now, I know that people go to Call of Duty locals all the time and win. I have friends that do that, and I've won some money at Call of Duty locals too. But we're not talking about locals. We're talking about like main stage stuff. I want to know if there are Halo pros that have shifted from being only Halo pros to being Call of Duty pros in the sense that they place in the money and that they make money at the game. That's what I want to know. And if it turns out that there are lots of people that do that, then I'd say go for it. Like, that's excellent. But I'd also want to point out that further than that, there's a difference between switching from being a Halo pro to a Call of Duty pro and switching from a Halo random to trying to pursue Call of Duty. Because when you're a Halo pro, you've already gained the confidence of being able to perform at a high level. You have that like internal knowledge that you are a performer and that you can perform at the highest levels of competitive play, and that helps whenever you go into a tournament scene. So as you switch over to a new game, perhaps like you may not have the total game mastery that some Call of Duty players may have, some Call of Duty amateurs or semi-pros may have, but you know that you're better, or that like that's a kind of irrational thing that you know inside of you, and that's very helpful. It's very helpful in competitive play because confidence under pressure helps keep your mind clear. It helps you react to that pressure properly. When a Halo random or Halo amateur switches over from Halo to Call of Duty, what they'll likely experience is playing against a bunch of other Call of Duty amateurs that know the game better than these Halo players do, and there's going to be a lot of frustration there because not only do you have to restart in terms of working your way up through the community, which Halo pros don't have to do, by the way. When a Halo pro switches over to Call of Duty, you always have that label of pro attached to you. When people know that you've been pro in something, that's going to attract the quality, and so you're going to have better team opportunities no matter what. Like, no matter what game you go to, as long as it's a similar genre. I mean, I don't know if Halo pros would have any advantage going to League of Legends or World of Warcraft or whatever, but if switching to Call of Duty, Gears of War, I'm sure that there's some transfer there, like just in terms of how people see you, in terms of the perception. I apologize for my water drinking habits. No, what Gandhi said about the future of Halo, the current state of Halo and the future of Halo. He addressed the current state of Halo, saying that what we have right now isn't Halo, and that it's not fun, and that there's, he expressed a lot of frustration with random aspects of gameplay. I don't disagree with that frustration. In the last couple of Halo titles, we've had a lot of negative developments for the competitive play. However, moving forward and looking at what's on the horizon, I think that there is potential for the Halo scene that not everybody is acknowledging. And people are assuming that we're on this downward trajectory that's just going to continue downward. But the fact is, Halo 4 Global Championship is offering $300,000 in cash prize. That's as much, approximately, or on the same order as like a year of MLG. And how long has it been since the game has come out? Less than a year. So in 1 year, we actually have like similar amounts of money on the line just because of the Halo 4 Global Championship. Now add an AGL to that, and I'd say we probably have the same amount of money or more in the Halo scene as we ever have. That's really interesting. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, maybe I'm not taking something into consideration. So please, like, tell me if I'm like messing this up massively. But that's what I see. And what's interesting is now we have like a tournament that's developer supported, which has massive importance because of like they can't complain to. Okay, so when you have a third party like MLG or AGL using a developer's game, then you have to get the game rights to even broadcast, and there's like a bunch of shit that goes on, like not having tournament discs that have all the maps, like having to buy all the maps for the tournament or something like that. Like stuff that MLG and the AGL have struggled with in the past. Like we couldn't play Skyline at one event because of an issue like this. Developer tournaments aren't going to have issues like that because they will do what they want to do to make sure that the tournament like succeeds. Not only that, if developers are starting to host tourneys to grow their game and to grow their player base, then like 343 probably is going to start considering what it means for Halo to be a tournament game, and they're going to start including features in the game that support that nature of the game or that aspect of the game. So in Halo 5, it's likely that we'll see not only a spectator mode, but hopefully some other features that support tournament gameplay. And I hope that we'll see some features that support a transition from online gameplay to tournament gameplay and guide people through that transition. That's what I'd really like to see. So to say that Halo has no future, I think it's a fallacy at this point because of the Halo 4 Global Championship and some hints from 343 about what might follow it in terms of tournaments. Frank O'Connor said, as Ghostiyami pointed out in his thread in the TeamBeyond.net forums, like reasons that we should not give up Halo. That was the thread. Frank O'Connor said that they would be considering more traditional tournament formats, I think, in the future. I don't know the exact wording. But to me, that hints at 4v4, 2v2, more in-person aspects of the tournament. And all of those would be a positive thing for the Halo community because that's what we want. That's what we want to watch, and that's what we want to play for the most part. So now is not the time to jump ship. And people say that they're not jumping ship when they go to COD. And actually, it's totally fine what pros are doing and what top players are doing in terms of switching over to Call of Duty and saying, I'm still with Halo, but I'm going to do this because it's a smart option. I'm going to go play some Call of Duty and see how good I can get. That's fine for them because they can come right back to the Halo scene. They've already accumulated this skill. They're already, up here compared to like the average player that's down here. But for the average player, this actually represents an opportunity, as Gandhi barely mentioned in his Gandhi's Thoughts 63. This represents an opportunity for the average player to come from here and gain ground on the pros as the pros play Call of Duty instead. I wish that I had continued playing through the end of Reach because at Columbus 2012, which is the only event that I've attended, that was my first event. My team placed, we placed in the top half of the bracket, like top 96, something not worth mentioning. And our guys were disappointed, to say the least. And I was teaming with locals, and they said they were going to take breaks. And in the end, that, in large part, that killed a lot of my drive. Like, I found another team online, and then that one broke up. And at that point, I was at least on the verge of like semi-pro level gameplay, at least. But I then like stopped playing. I stopped going hard, and through the end of Reach, instead of going like this, my skill then went kind of like that because I didn't play. If I had kept playing though, then when Halo 4 had come out, so like what I'm comparing this to is when Halo 5 is going to come out, but if I had kept playing, then when Halo 4 had come out, I would have been up here. And I would have been able to compete with the semis and with the pros, possibly. That was my opportunity to gain ground and to insert myself into a higher level of the community. Oh, my phone's going off, Dutch. I have to shut it up. And that's what we have right now for players that are unknown and that want to become known. That opportunity phase. Is it useless if Halo dive bombs? Maybe useless in the sense that they won't ever make any money at it. But I know for me, I gave up on the idea of making money at Halo unless something very unpredictable happens. I gave up on that idea like a year ago. I don't aim to make a living at Halo. I just love the game. Like, I know it's not fun to play online, really. Like, the way that the matchmaking is set up, with the frustration that we experience in getting competitive matches in the matchmaking system, it can be frustrating to play alone and not fun. And that's what a lot of people refer to, I think, because of this loss of the matchmaking that we've had. But Halo 4 is still fun on LAN. I've LAN multiple times recently, and within a competitive tournament setting, playing against people of similar skill, to me, Halo 4 is still a lot of fun in that regard. So I don't know what the discrepancy there is between me and other people that are talking about leaving and that Halo 4 is not fun anymore, or whether they feel the same way, just it's not fun online, because that makes total sense to me. But I don't know. I guess I feel like I've said pretty much everything I want to say. There's no point in losing heart in Halo at this point, because we don't know what changes are going to happen in the next year as Halo 5 comes out and through the late part of Halo 4's time span. Because they didn't sign 343i did not sign a contract with Virgin Gaming for nothing. I don't think it was for this one thing, and I don't think it was for this Halo 4 Global Championship plus the smaller thing that happened earlier this year. I can't remember what it was called. I really don't think that was it. So I think we're going to see some interesting stuff happening, and I hope that people are going to stick around for that. I play Halo just because I like Halo, not to make money out of it. And I think that it's different. I think that's a different attitude than a lot of people have at the top level of the game. I understand how they felt or how they feel, because I was approaching it the same way for 2 years. But when I stopped approaching like that, then I just started enjoying the game for what it was. So I don't know. I don't want to go on too much here, but that's all I wanted to say. So leave a comment, whatever. Peace.